Hello everyone and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is episode 2 of the Maxwell Files. Folks, I have a whopper of a headline for you. I'm talking, this is comedy gold. Dave Chappelle couldn't hope to drop such comedy on us. You ready for it? Here's the headline from the New York Post. Ghislaine Maxwell was Epstein's victim, and he had complete control over her, friends say. So this is going to be the strategy. We knew this was going to be the strategy, and she was setting it up when she tried to sue the estate for her legal fees. Ghislaine Maxwell, her defense is going to be that she was just another victim of Jeffrey Epstein. She was just a girl looking for someone to love, and Jeffrey Epstein took advantage of me, Ghislaine Maxwell. Sorry. Nobody's buying it. All right? You're a grown-ass woman. You and Jeffrey Epstein entered into this pact together. You decided to start this trafficking ring, and both of you decided that you'd work with intelligence to honey trap people. Now, when it's time to pay the piper, when the bill comes due, you want to cry like you're the victim? You are not the victim. You are an abuser, a sick, disgusting excuse for a human being, and you deserve to spend the rest of your pathetic life in a jail cell. Those girls that you hurt, that you abused, while you were abusing them, they were victims. But guess what? Now they're survivors. You're not even that. You're a pathetic, broken, disgusting woman sitting in a jail cell who will never, ever see the light of day. So take your whole entire I'm the victim strategy and shove it. This article was authored by Paula Froelich. Jeffrey Epstein had complete control over Ghislaine Maxwell from almost the moment they met, even ordering her to fetch him chicken soup when he was sick, a pal of the disgraced British socialite told the Post. And we know who this is. This is Laura Goldman. She's been running disinformation for her pal Ghislaine Maxwell for the duration of this. She has made excuse after excuse for Ghislaine Maxwell, and it's pretty pathetic, honestly. Pretty pathetic to see. Laura Goldman was on the Blitz talking about how, Ghislaine couldn't have done any of this, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, everything she was saying was disinformation. I said it here on the podcast. Just another pawn in Ghislaine Maxwell's game of chess. I almost feel bad for Laura Goldman, honestly. I don't have anything personal against the lady. I don't know her. I've never spoken with her one-on-one. But it's pretty pathetic to be used by somebody like Ghislaine Maxwell. Considering you know exactly what she is. What do you think, it's a good friend to stand by her side when she's facing these sorts of charges, these accusations for years and years and years from multiple girls? And then you still come out on the offensive for her and run this sort of cover? It is a bad look. An absolutely disgusting bad look. She's a kind of victim of Epstein, said the friend who called Maxwell's relationship with Epstein a tragic story. If you ask any psychiatrist, they will tell you there are bad marriages where you will do anything for the person you're with. I feel like yelling at her, Ghislaine, for God's sakes, why? Why? It was about money, the glamour, and the lifestyle. This is such BS. This is so, oh my God, this is so horrible. We'll just call the person the source because it doesn't name who the person is in this article. So I guess we don't know for sure who it is, but we know who was being the mouthpiece for Ghislaine throughout this whole entire thing. And as far as ask any psychiatrist, well, I have asked psychiatrists. Okay? I've talked to psychiatrists about this. Ghislaine Maxwell was not a victim. And to run that line is an embarrassment to you and everybody else associated. Ghislaine Maxwell was an abuser, a child molester, and an exploiter of those who were weaker than her. And if you're still in her camp and you're still providing her with support, then you're just as big of a scuzzball. Ghislaine was already a damaged, broken girl when she arrived in New York and met Epstein, said her friend, who has known Maxwell since the 90s. Oh, this again, about her daddy. Oh, daddy. Oh, my daddy, I'm a broken girl. Yeah, right. That might have been the cover. Broken my ass. She came over to America, and right away, her and Jeffrey Epstein kicked their whole entire little blackmail ring into effect, with help of others, by the way. But these two were the leaders. They were both in a leadership role. Nobody's a victim here. What, Sammy the Bull Gravano is John Gotti's victim? Hell out of here with that nonsense. She came to the United States after the horrific death of her father, whom she adored. Her brother went to jail, the mother was freaking out, and the British government had just took the big house she grew up in away. Oh, poor baby. Oh, your life is so bad. You went from having $1 billion to having $10 million. How are you ever gonna live? Does anybody feel sorry for her? Or is everybody reading this and feeling the same way I am? This is a mockery. This is a slap in the face. The real survivors should be getting write-ups like this, not Ghislaine Maxwell, the monster. She used to sit and cry on her sofa and say, they even took the silver spoons, the friend recalled. Oh my God, talk about first world problems. You want to talk about privilege? This is privilege, folks. This is real privilege. Oh, they took the silver spoons. How am I going to eat my caviar? I hate these people. Honestly, it's very rare when you hear me use the word I hate somebody. I hate these people. I hate everything that so-called polite society stands for. I hate the so-called elite, and I hate the idiots that provide them cover. Then she met Epstein. He saw this attractive, broken bird who was very smart, very entertaining, and he thought, that's the woman who could do a lot for me, the friend said. Oh yeah, because that's what Jeffrey Epstein always did, collected broken women. No, he abused broken women, okay? Ghislaine Maxwell was his vehicle into polite society. She acted as the conduit for Jeffrey Epstein to get his foot in the door to be accepted by the so-called socialites. And whoever the source is trying to run this bullshit on us right here, take your nonsense and stuff it, okay? This is the biggest bunch of BS I think I've ever read. Talk about writing up fictional nonsense to try and garner support for Ghislaine Maxwell in the situation that she's in. Whoever this source is, boy, I'll tell you what, this source is just pathetic. How do you sleep at night? Epstein started exerting severe control over Maxwell from the beginning, just like her father had when she was growing up, according to Maxwell's friend. Yeah, right. She sat at daddy's knee, learned spycraft, learned all the tools of the trade, just like Cersei Lannister sat at Tywin's knee. Who? Really? This is like trying to make me feel bad for Cersei Lannister. Zero chance, folks. Zero chance, no matter the nonsensical BS gaslighting you put in this article. One day, the friend recalled, Jeffrey wasn't feeling well. We were having a meeting, and he called her and said, you have to get the chicken soup from the deli on 3rd Avenue for me. Really? The chicken soup from 3rd Avenue for me? That's him exerting control? That's what you can speak of him exerting control? Because he asked Ghislaine to get him some chicken noodle soup, huh? You would think if Ghislaine Maxwell was being so controlled by Jeffrey Epstein, you would have a better example than her fetching some chicken noodle soup for him. You're gonna need to come more correct than that. Maxwell apparently protested, telling him, Jeffrey, but you have all this staff who can do it. To which Epstein replied, no, you have to bring it, the friend said. I don't believe any of this. I'm just gonna go out and straight up say it. I don't believe any of this. Whoever the source is, I don't believe you. I remember thinking this girl is being brainwashed, controlled, the friend added. I saw that happening, that power he had on her. So whoever this source is, I'm guessing that you're going to take the stand in defense of her come trial time, right? You're going to put your money where your mouth is, and you're going to get up there on that stand, and you're going to say all of this stuff on that stand, right? So the public can see you without hiding behind a source said. Maxwell became totally obsessed with her then-lover Epstein during and after their affair, they said. Was that before or after Maxwell was betting Bill Clinton and being his gumad? The former high society hostess was arrested this week in New Hampshire after hiding since Epstein's death in a Manhattan jail last year. She is accused of procuring and grooming girls as young as 14 for Epstein, and on Friday, one woman filed suit against Maxwell, claiming the socialite, co-conspirator, child abuser, molester, raped her up to 30 times, starting when she was just 14 years old and continuing until she became pregnant with Jeffrey Epstein's child. Look, I don't know who this source is. We only have one source that's come out and spoken in Ghislaine's favor, so it might be that source. I don't know. I can't confirm it one way or the other. But whoever this source is speaking in this article right here, this is all straight trash. This puff piece, this cover you're trying to put down for Ghislaine Maxwell, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be absolutely and utterly ashamed of yourself. How can you look yourself in the mirror running this kind of claptrap? After all of these girls have come forward with their accounts, you still believe your disgusting ass friend, huh? I got news for you. Any of my friends listening out there? If any of you are ever charged with any shit like this, don't expect Little Rob to come jumping onto his podcast and come to your defense, ever. And for anybody to come to Ghislaine Maxwell's defense in a situation such as this, especially after she has been arrested, it is beyond the pale. And the person whoever this source is deserves all the scorn and disgust that you have available, because I'll tell you folks, this is a gross to me. In my opinion, it's gross to run cover for somebody like this. To try and get ahead of it, to try and start rebuilding her image right away and putting the microscope on her as a victim of Jeffrey Epstein, as opposed to somebody in a leadership role. Now we've seen it from Dershowitz, and we see it from whoever this source is. How many other people are going to show their true colors and come to the defense of this absolute monster? If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All right, everybody, I'll be back later on tonight with the Daily Drop.